Hello there, what is going on, everyone? Today we are talking about the Wheels of Annihilation. I want to talk about the wheel bikes, both Grievous and the Special Forces wheel bikes, because this is a very cool way to do a thematic list, and we've got some cool things to talk about. Ministravaganza happened. There's a lot of things to talk about and break down for Star Wars Legion, and I thought a cool way to start this out would be to talk about the TSMEU Wheel Bikes. And we're going to talk about these two, how they work together, and I'm going to kind of formulate the basis for what I'm calling the Wheels of Annihilation, which I think is an absurd list in Star Wars Legion, but maybe it will be the new meta. Am I going to predict the new meta before it happens? I guess we will see. If you guys are new here to the channel, we talk a lot about Star Wars Legion. We're still doing 12 Days of Life Day. 12 times in December. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos that's going to enter you to win any of the giveaways. There's time, although it is December now, so it could be at the end of this video. You'll have to wait and see. Watch to the end of my videos throughout December as we do more 12 Days of Life Day. There's time. There's time to enter. And if you don't win one giveaway, you might win the next. Patrons are going to get anything that goes unclaimed after 30 days. So, more stuff for patrons. Also, if you're checking out any Battle Foam, doing any holiday shopping, head over to Battle Foam and use code Crabbok VIP. You're going to save 15% on your Battle Foam orders. So, pretty cool stuff. Let's get on to the meat and potatoes of this. And it's the TSMEU-6 Wheel Bikes. These things are pretty cool. Now, we've looked at Grievous. Grievous has some laser cannons and his pistol, which is 5 dice for Grievous. We've also got the wheel bikes. Now, we don't know the points cost for these, at least at the time of me recording this video, unless it was like dropped, you know, in between. But they are Special Forces, which I think surprised a lot of people. They're 3 health, also no resilience, so they're not going to break, which is good. They do have offensive surge. They have surge to hit. They do not have surge to block, although they don't have a dash in the preview that was shown. It's presumably not surge to block, because that would be really, really strong. Presumably there's a dash there, whereas Grievous has his dash. They didn't have a dash. But these guys, the wheel bikes have AI dodge, which may not be a thing. May not ever be a thing, unless, of course, Grievous dies, which then it could be a thing. They have Armor 1, Climbing Vehicle, and Mobile. And Mobile is basically a compulsory move that they have to make. Very similar to Speeder, but it's a version of it on the ground. They're climbing vehicles. Armor 1 is not much. It's not much. And you know, again, you're going to be able to focus these guys down pretty quick. But what I like about the wheel bikes, more so than I like about Grievous, is the fact that they have Overrun 2. Which, even if you do lose one of your wheel bikes, at 3 health each and a red save, that's not bad. There's ways for them to get surge tokens, as well as Separatists have ways for tokens to go out there. But they're pretty interesting. They are pretty interesting. Now, Grievous has Entourage with these wheel bikes also. So I wanted to talk about both of these guys together, because it does mean that you can put a lot of bikes out there. And this could also be a dollars expensive, you know, new type of army to field if you're thinking about doing that. Because, okay, Grievous and 1-wheel bikes, that makes sense. That's cool. He's got Entourage there. It all works. It's also not going to count, you know, for Special Forces. So you could have 4 units of TSMEU-6 wheel bikes. Each of those has 2 wheel bikes in the unit. Which does mean that you could run 9 total wheel bikes, Grievous being one of them, right? And then 4 units of 2, so 8 plus 1. 9 of these things running around doing overrun attacks like crazy. And we're not done. There's more to Wheels of Destruction than that. Add to the fact that General Grievous has the access to all of his original command cards and all of the new command cards. You can do really crazy things. Pincer attack from the the new command cards is going to be a really nice one as you're being very aggressive with a list like this. You're flying everybody in. You're taking those compulsory moves. You're going fast. You're going furious. You're going in there. You're gonna also basically mark your targets for everybody else. Crush them. Maybe you do this a little later, but you can give yourself some defensive surge, which you already got the red defense die. It's not half bad. And then I think Trained in Your Jedi Arts, while it's a good card in general, Grievous kind of always struggled with his command cards, and I think this is a great way to kind of give him new life. But man, Trained in Your Jedi Arts is even better on the Wheelbike version of General Grievous, which I think is really, really cool. One of the things we don't have with the TSMEU Wheelbikes is we don't have their points and we don't have their upgrades. So I wanted to put a list together that would approximate having 4 Wheelbikes. Now, I don't know what kind of upgrades they're going to have, which means I don't know what the end cost is going to be. But here's what I approximated. Here's what I approximated in this case. So, now I'm using Tabletop Admiral. There is no cost for these, but if you look at the special forces we do have, you've got the Droid Commandos and the Magna Guard. Magna Guard are more expensive. Droid Commandos are less expensive. I'm estimating these guys are going to be, I want to estimate on the higher end just to plan out a little bit of a list. So I put 4 Magna Guard in the list in lieu of the Wheelbikes, but assume that they're Wheelbikes, right? Just so I could get the numbers right. Assuming that they're 72. They might be cheaper, they might be more expensive. And I left a little bit of extra room in the points for this list to account for that. So this is rough planning. Rough planning. But what I imagine a Wheels of Destruction might look like is Grievous in the Wheelbike. For our core, we're going with not a whole lot. We're going with B2s, and again, we can get right in your face. We can, and then these guys can just walk up, and that's fine. I do have some B1s also. I only have 2 units of B2s right now, so I was just like, let me do a reinforced B2 Super Battle Droid unit. That'll be fun. Let's do a regular classic B1s with the E5C, and then let's add Kraken, who's also new, right? He's also part of the new free cards that they put out. Again, more stuff from Ministravaganza. You get an extra heavy with him. He becomes the leader. And anytime you're attacking, you're upgrading an attack die for each miniature that was previously defeated, which is really cool because, especially in a reinforced unit, he was made for this kind of unit, which is really, really cool. And then we put the E5C in there as well. You're eventually going to be rolling all red at one point, theoretically. So I thought that's going to be a really fun one for the B1s. I do have the 4 Magna Guards in there, which are taking the place of the TSMEU-6 Wheel Bikes, or the TSMEUs. And I also threw in 3 Droidicas because Wheels of Destruction, well, they're balls, which are kind of like 3-dimensional wheels, and they're in the support thing. So you can have Wheel Bikes and Droidicas, and this only comes out to $980 for all of this right now. Of course, we don't know what the points are going to actually be for the TSMEU Wheel Bikes. And also, it would probably be smart. It would probably be very smart to have another commander available, because you don't want AI to go kind of haywire when all of a sudden you lose Grievous, because you're going to be playing him aggressively. You're going to lose Grievous, right? So there's ways that we could scale some of this stuff back. I don't need the reinforced B2s, or I don't need necessarily Kraken and the reinforced B1s if I'm doing this. But I probably would want another commander. So in the event that the TSMEU wheel bikes are cheap, then maybe that frees up enough room for a cheap alternative commander. Or maybe we go with Trench. We haven't seen him yet. He's also the newest surprise for the Separatists, right? We're getting Trench as well. So this is the Wheels of Destruction mentality. There's 9 wheel bikes and then 3 droidicas, which all have wheel mode. We can kind of maximize wheel in this list while still having a couple of big core units that can shoot and take advantage of some of the pincer attack things and things of that sort. So it's a very interesting kind of concept. So I'm excited about it. I want to know what you guys think. The TSMEU-6 wheel bikes, I don't really expect it to be quite that crazy with the overrun because their bases are going to be kind of big. You have to be able to make sure they're in cohesion and things like that. And so, you know, your mobility will be a challenge depending on your terrain. But, boy, it'll be fun. Boy, it'll be fun. I have played a little bit with overrun stuff in the past, and it is very fun, and it also makes for quicker games. Now, I feel like I might really like doing this because aggressive play styles that make games end faster, either by win or by I blew up all my stuff in my attempts to win, that sounds like a lot of fun. But maybe not the most serious and competitive list. I do think that these guys may be competitive. A lot of it depends on their upgrades and their points. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, at least one or two. I predict most people will probably want at least 2 things of wheel bikes. That gives you access to some other special forces as well. Because you'll have options this way, and you can be a little bit more well-balanced without going all in. Seldom do you really want to go all into one gimmick for a list and have it be competitive. Usually it's not. And yes, you're going to get a lot of command cards, but if you run all 6 of Grievous's command cards, giving you all max options, then you have to play Grievous a lot more defensively, and I don't think you want to do that. I could get, honestly, if I was playing this competitively and trying to be very aggressive with Grievous, I would have another commander in the background, and I'd probably only bring at max 2 Grievous command cards, like maybe Pincer Attack and Trained in your Jedi Arts, because then I'm gonna be dead by then. I'm not gonna get a chance to run all 6. Well, you can never run all 6, right? But I'm not gonna get to run all the Grievous's command cards, as he is gonna come in super aggressive, and I'm okay with that. It's gonna be it is okay to be fun and silly sometimes, and sometimes you want to be a little bit more serious and balanced and competitive. But I think this list is a crazy fun, silly list, and more of an idea of a framework just to see how many wheels we can get into a list. And that's gonna wrap up this video. All right, let's look at the wheel bikes and Grievous and all of the fun shenanigans you can get into when running them together, trying to run people down, getting multiple shots off, and then free overrun attacks on top of that, and then all of that. It's going to be fun. Separatists are going to have a very interesting time with all of these new releases. But we have more in store once we get a look at Savage Opress and, of course, Admiral Trench. There's more that meets the eye when it comes into... Although these guys do kind of transform a little bit, so maybe that's where that came from. All right. That's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons as well. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. You can't take the sky from me. And always wash your socks.